Hello, welcome to Norwegian Newcomers, the podcast where we hear about fragments from the lives of Norway's immigrant population. Today, my guest is Carlos. Carlos, welcome to Norwegian Newcomer family.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm really glad that you are with us today and that we can hear more about your experiences or your life before and after moving to Norway. At the beginning, I would like you to introduce or to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hi people. My name is Carlos. I am half Chilean, half Spanish. I was born in a little, not so little, city in Chile called Valparaiso in 1982. We moved from Chile when I was 1 year, because my parents they are kind of travelers also, so they moved to Switzerland to Zurich, and we lived there for 3 years before heading back to Chile, and that's when things started to change a little bit in my life. Since I was not a baby anymore, I was a child, and things were happening in the country that wasn't really good for the people, political stuff, and my parents decided to move to Norway.
How old you were?
When I moved from Chile, I was 5 years old. This was in 1987.
And when you were 5, so you came with your parents to Norway?
Well, they moved first to see if they have any opportunity and to see how it goes first, and they came asking for political asylum because of the Pinochet, and they got to stay, and after 1 year of preparing and making it ready for me and my sister, we were brought here.
So while your parents were here, you were in Chile, and your grandma was taking care of you.
My grandma was, yes, she was the one who took care of us for that 1 year that we didn't have our parents there. And she's like a second mother to us because, she has always been there. And it was, I remember it was really emotional, the day. I remember the day as if it was yesterday. Us leaving the country, and she followed us to the airport, and it was very emotional, and it was my first time flying too, so I was kind of excited as a little kid that I'm gonna fly.
I'm gonna fly, and then in Norway. Can you recall those first weeks, months in Norway?
I actually remember when we landed here. It was in December, I believe. Back then, winters in Norway were like real cold winters, and I was amazed by the snow. I had never seen snow in my whole life, and we took the car from the airport. It was Fornebu back then, and we went to our home that was a boat, actually, in not far away from where the new opera house is now. The way I remember it was like the Danish dance boat, as they called it, the Danskebåten, but it wasn't a party boat. It was a boat for refugees, because we got assigned an apartment later in time.
So the first accommodation was?
The first accommodation was the boat, yeah. And there were all nationalities there. I remember that I got a lot of friends from Iran. It was people from Somalia, from Iraq, other Chileans, and some other Latin American countries too.
And how it looks your childhood in that time? Did you start with the kindergarten immediately, or those process of learning the language? And
I didn't start straight away. We were there for about a year, I think, and when we got the apartment, I started at kindergarten, the barnehage. And my sister was placed at school, and I do remember my first day still in the Barnehage. It was super exciting for me and my parents. They didn't know how I was going to manage because I didn't speak the language. And I remember that when I saw my parents leave, I just started crying, crying, crying. And I didn't like it the first week because when I came home, I said to my parents, I can't communicate. I don't understand what the other children are trying to tell me. But it went really fast from not talking Norwegian at all to speak it quite well. Yeah. So I learned to speak the language in the kindergarten. Yeah.
In the kindergarten.
It was me and two other immigrants in the whole Barnehage. We were just three.
And not from the same place?
There was one girl from Chile, and the third one I don't remember.
So at least you have one friend.
I had one that spoke the same language,
Yeah.
yeah. So we became quite close.
Are you still in?
No, I lost contact, unfortunately.
But in that time, for each
Yeah,
other, yeah.
and we also started at the same school. We were together at the same class for I believe it was 5 years, because then we moved back.
Okay. From Norway, you moved back home.
Yes, after that my parents got an apartment, a new beginning, a life, and everything was going quite well, to be honest. Suddenly, my mom tells me that I need to talk with you children. And we thought it was like a normal family talk. And then my dad and my mom sits by our side and they tell us that we are going to move back.
In Chile.
Yes, to Chile, yeah.
And the reason?
The reason was basically it's not dangerous anymore. Things are stable, and we have enough money to start a really good life. But what they didn't think about was that we already had a life here, and for us going back to Chile, it was kind of going back to a foreign country.
Did you talk with the parents? Did you show any that you don't want to go?
You know what? To be honest, to start with, I was kind of happy because during that time that we lived here, I lived here from 1987 to 1993. So during that time, we went for holidays to Chile, but you know that when you travel to a country for holidays, it's not the same as moving permanent. So for me, I saw, well, the people, my family, my friends that I have there, but I never thought about that. You will need to go to school. I will need to learn how to write and read in Spanish because I didn't know how to do that. I only spoke Spanish. And since you only speak Spanish with your family at home, it kind of gets a really bad Spanish, like a home Spanish only, because for me, even though nowadays I think I speak quite good Spanish, but it's really weird to say, but for me, my mother language actually is Norwegian.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, and I was guessing that it's kind of natural since the.
So when we moved back, I had a private teacher for 3 months at home, so I could learn to write and read, and then I started at school. And that was a totally different thing than Norway, because that's like more a military. It's a lot of discipline in Chile. All of the children, I remember that I asked my mom, why do I need to wear a uniform? I didn't do that in Norway. And every Monday you needed to sing the national song.
Do you like celebrating Norwegian National Day, 17th of May?
Yes, the 17th of May. It's really emotional for me, because I remember when I was living in Chile, I was the only one celebrating the 17th of May. Well, me and my mom, we got quite emotional about it, because she could clearly see in my eyes that I was so longing to come back. And I think that the thing that hurts the most is that in her mind she was kind of telling me without words that we are not going to move back, but she could see in my eyes that I still had hope that we will move back eventually one day. And yeah, it was very sad. It was just me and my little Norwegian flag singing the national song. And no, it
But you
was.
had you believed that you will go back.
Oh, always. I always had in my heart and in my mind that one day, one beautiful day, I will touch Norwegian soil again and be happy, and be myself, be.
Do you remember the moment when your mom told you that you are going back? Actually,
Oh
that's
yeah, yes. I remember that she called me because I was asking. When she moved back, I was asking already after 1 month. So is everything ready? Can I come? And she was, no, not yet, not yet. I need to do a lot of paperwork first, and I need to find a place for us. And so I was asking the whole time, and then it just stopped because at some point you kind of time goes by, and you know that your parents are doing things to hurry up the process, but nothing was happening, and I was. Do you remember that when we went over to a new millennium, the celebration of the year 2000?
Yeah.
Well, in Valparaiso, it's very known worldwide to have one of the most spectacular fireworks shows in the world, and I remember that I was looking forward to that. So we went up to my mom's uncle place because he has a beautiful view over the whole city, and it's usually by the bay. The boats, they all shoot up like professional fireworks. I love fireworks. And I was sitting there, and 12 o'clock comes, and they were showing a little piece of every part of the world. When 12 o'clock arrives, how they celebrate it. And then Norway came, and I remember that I saw people in Aker Brygge waiting for the year 2000, and I got super emotional, and I said, well, one day I'm going to be back there again to celebrate it. And we did that. And I remember that a few days after, my mom said, here's your plane ticket. And I was thinking, is this for real? Is it? Because I celebrated New Year's Eve, and then the 24th of January was the day that I was going to move back to Norway. And the journey to Chile, it's around 24 hours. So I remember that I took the plane from Santiago, and I had a change in Buenos Aires, and from Buenos Aires it was to, I think it was Amsterdam, if I'm not wrong. And then I remember that when I was waiting for the little plane in Amsterdam, it wasn't flying fast enough. I remember it's a really short flight, but for me it was like crossing the Atlantic. It was. Oh my God, and when I land and touch down in Gardermoen, it was amazing. I just wanted to go down on my knees and kind of just kiss the floor, but I didn't do it because then people would probably think, what is he doing? Is he crazy or what? But for me, it was huge. And then I remember that I was so exhausted, so I just slept for 24 hours, and the jet lag and everything, and that's when a new beginning started.
All right, we are back.
Let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear the road that you have coming, moving in and moving back,
Yes,
and moving in.
moving.
But I would like to hear more now about your present life. Are you satisfied with your work life, private life?
To describe the perfect life, it's a little bit difficult, but yes, I'm very satisfied. I still wake up in the morning, and when I open up my eyes, I'm thankful to be here. I'm really thankful for being here, which I consider my home. Yeah.
Can you see some difference that Oslo is changing, that more people are coming, immigrants?
Well, yeah, I mean, back in those days when we came for the first time, it was not a lot of immigrants. We were quite few immigrants. I remember that in Chilean culture, the avocado is something that you have on the table every day. And when we came, you didn't have like the the Turkish veggie shop. You didn't have the exotic shops. You didn't have anything. Things closed very early, and then with time, with immigrants, we started to get a bigger. What is it called? Well, more shops and more exotic food and vegetables that were not here when we came. So it has changed a lot, but I think it has changed for the better.
And you have, I assume you have a lot of friends, Norwegians, but also immigrants. Do you
Yes.
have friends from Chile, Spain, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have a large group of friends from all parts of the world. To be honest, I have some Chilean friends, mostly Norwegians, but also immigrant children that came well at the same time as I did, and I have other friends that were born here but with immigrant parents, and well, there's a mix of everything from Latin America to the Middle East, Morocco, Central Europe, Western Europe, yeah.
Balkan.
Balkan, yes. I have 3 or 4 from Balkan, yeah. So yeah, no, I have a lot of friends from everywhere, and it makes the atmosphere different in a good way, more international.
What do you think that those diversity and people from all over the world now living here, how that influence Norwegian society?
I think that the influence it's positive because it makes Norway is a small country compared to other countries in the world, and Oslo it's a really small capital, and it has always been like, well, in this case, it has always been like Europe down there, and then you have little Norway up in the north, so isolated. But having so many people from different parts of the world, it kind of opens up like a gateway to the world, and it makes Norway more international in somehow, and more European, and it changes the culture a little bit. I mean, Norwegians are very like to keep their own culture and their beliefs and stuff, but when you mix a little bit of things from other countries, it kind of makes a new Norwegian culture, the multicultural one, which I find really beautiful. It's Norway. It's growing very fast, and it's getting part of the world. Norway, it's not a tiny country anymore that not a lot of people know about. Norway, it's out there.
Do you consider yourself as Norwegian?
Even though I consider Norway my country, my home, we have moved in a time where you are kind of discovering who you are as a human. And since we were moving, I never really got the chance to kind of set roots like in a place. Well, now here, but even though I feel Norwegian and everything, there's something missing.
When you're thinking about that, are you on a trace? What?
I think I know what it is, and it's well, I feel mostly Norwegian, but not quite. I know that a part of me is Latin American, but it's a part inside of me, and well, my parents are from 2 different countries. My father is Chilean, and my mother is Spanish. She was born in Santander in northern Spain. So all my family from my mother's side are in the Barcelona area and Tarragona, which is around 2 hours further south. But I personally, when I go to Spain, I don't really feel at home. When I go to Chile, I don't really feel at home. When I'm in Norway, I feel at home, but not quite. So I think that, I don't know if I should call it a consequence, but when you move and you're not stable in one place, you kind of lose yourself a little bit, you kind of your identity. So I have discovered I don't really belong anywhere. I feel like a traveler.
Or belonging everywhere?
Or belonging everywhere, exactly. It's not like I could say I am 100% Norwegian, or I am 100% Chilean, or I am 100% Spanish.
So you had the feeling that you're missing something, or
Yes.
it's sensitive. It's what are you missing?
It's a difficult question because I feel that I miss something, but at the same time, I feel that I'm kind of complete. I have everything that a human needs to be happy. I have a family that loves me. I have a partner that also loves me and supports me, and I have my friends and my job and everything here. But if you really think about it, I mean, what's a true Norwegian? What is a true Chilean? What I mean, we all emigrated from somewhere back in the days, right? So we are basically all travelers. It's just that people settle. What makes a home a home? Well, it's basically what you turn it into. For me, home is where I have my family, mainly my parents, and where I have my job and my daily life, and that's my home. And well, of all of the three countries, of course, I feel more home here. But what is missing? It's a really difficult one. It's something maybe I haven't discovered it quite yet, but there's definitely something there. To make the puzzle complete, I just need to find that one piece.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think it's a process. It's something, and who knows, maybe the process will last forever.
Yeah.
Reaching and being okay, if that's it. Do you think that those diversity in the Norwegian society that makes Norwegian society better, different?
I think so, because it's well, like we talked about the food, for example, you get a different kind of things. You get in a way more international. You get more connected to what's out there, in a form that it's getting like into us. This is something that it's happening all over the world. It's immigration everywhere, I think. But here in Norway, it's good that we are a multicultural society now, and everybody has something to give, to show other people or to teach other people, and we humans, we will always learn something new every day. We will never die and say I learned it all.
Carlos, tell me, what is the thing that you like the most about Norway?
Well, definitely the people. They are really humble. I have never seen such humbleness in people before. I like the architecture of the country. I like the climate. I'm a winter person. I like Oslo. It has a lot to offer, and it's a really beautiful country. It has amazing landscapes, and yeah, it's.
Did you travel around?
Oh yeah, I have been in a lot of places here in Norway. Well, in Norwegian, we always say that you should always start with your own country first before you discover the rest of the world. And well, I have been in the main cities. I have been in the south, in Kristiansand. I have been in Stavanger, Bergen, Trondheim, Tromsø up in the north, and even Nordkapp. That is the most northern part of the world. Yeah,
Okay.
to see the midnight sun.
And Aurora Borealis?
I haven't seen that. Well, I saw that in Oslo actually once.
Really?
Yeah, it would. I think it was one of these times where one of the solar storms were quite heavy, and I saw. I think it was around 5 years ago, and I was having a cigarette in the roof terrace, and I saw the Aurora Borealis. Yeah.
Suddenly.
But I haven't seen that in the north because I haven't been up in the north in the wintertime.
Do you see yourself here for good? Or...
I mean, as a good Norwegian, we think that when our time it's here to become a pensionist, it's
time for Spain.
yeah, then it's time for Spain, and you can choose between Costa Brava or Alicante or Torrevieja or Mallorca or whatever. But I have my family in Catalonia. So I think that when I grow older and become a pensionist, I think I'm gonna give it a try. Even though I love this country with all my heart, I'm always going to come and visit, especially in the winter because I love winter. But I think that I'm gonna give it a try to move there because of health. Probably I'm gonna have some health issues or my bones, I don't know. I'm already struggling a little bit with my back. Definitely, I will move to Spain to give it a try, but I will always travel to Norway once in a while to go home and experience and the winter and the snow and get a little bit of minus degrees, and then I can go back to Mediterranean winter. Yeah.
And your personal life, how is it going?
Well, when it comes to my partner, I think I found the my soulmate in Spain, believe it or not. While on holidays in Mallorca, I got to know my partner, and everything was like a fairy tale. It was what I always dreamed of. It was amazing, and we met there, and he was back then he was living in the UK in Liverpool, and we thought that why not give it a chance. So I was traveling back and forth like an flight attendant. I got a lot of points, Norwegian points. And then eventually we had the big talk, and he moved here with me. So it has been an interesting and beautiful journey when it comes to love. I'm very passionate. I'm a very emotional person, and I think I'm having the time of my life now. This is it.
That's nice to hear.
This is it. This is just live for today, because people are always saying that, yeah, but when I buy my first home, I'm gonna get happier, and when I buy the car, or when I get married, or when I get kids. But it's actually not the case. I think it's the now, and those things are bonuses in life. But don't wait for things in the future to become happy, because
You're missing the present.
you're missing the present, and it is now that you are happy, I think. Well, in my case. So, well, yeah, we are planning to buy a house in the future, and all of the normal stuff. But I'm very happy now. Yes.
Is there anything that you don't like in Oslo?
Well, I don't like that clubs close so early. Come on, people. There's a lot of young people in this country still, and they need to be given the chance to live their youth. It's very strict with alcohol. I know that in other countries, like in Spain, you have the alcohol sale in the food stores, and I kind of get that it can get a little bit out of control sometimes, and it's nice to have it regulated, but not so harsh. I mean, closing the alcohol in restaurants and clubs at 3 o'clock, it's a little bit too early. I mean, we shouldn't have Spanish conditions, like have the things open until 7 or 8, but 4:30, 5. 5, okay, 5, it's a good number. Well, that would be something like give young people the chance to live their youth a little bit. In this case, having the clubs and things open for a little bit more, and that was maybe one of the small things that I don't like. Maybe we should get better at including others, because even though we are immigrants that came to this country, you tend to forget sometimes, I think, how it was, and you become more and more adapted to this society and its culture. And I think we should do a better job when we receive new ones in the thing of integration, and not being so skeptic, because to be honest, even though I am one of those people. You can also, with time, be a little bit skeptic to the new ones and forget a little bit about when you arrived in Norway. So maybe we should get a little bit better at that, I think. Yeah.
Did you ever experience any problem because of your background or because you're immigrant? Did you ever have any problem here?
Fortunately, no. I have never experienced discrimination or racism. I have seen a lot, though, of it. I have been present in conversations where people talk about other foreigners as the weird ones or they. It's always they and us. And I have interfered by saying that, okay, I do understand the why of your thinking, but don't forget that I am also an immigrant that came when I was 5 years old. And then I usually get the reply of, well, but you speak so fluent Norwegian and you're white and you look like one of us. And so I don't usually get under that category as the immigrant, but I have seen it, and there is unfortunately a lot of discrimination and people being skeptic and some racism. Yes, I do see that, and that should be something that we should work on. That it's not good for a person to experience that, because the only thing that creates, it's more distance, and that's not the goal of integration. It's the opposite. It's being open-minded and giving yourself and the other person the chance and the opportunity to show who they are and what they can contribute with in this society too. Yeah. So yeah, it's no, but I've been really lucky. I haven't experienced that, and we need to communicate a little bit better. We need to give each other chances, not judge, because we can be so good at judging people and not giving them the opportunity to show who they are. So we should maybe stop doing that and get to know each other. Everybody has a story, and everybody are a different person, and that's what makes us unique.
Are you practicing siesta?
Yes, I am practicing siesta. That's one of my Spanish habits, if I'm gonna call it for something. But it's mainly in the winter, because you don't have a lot of energy. It's dark. I'm usually tired in the winter, and a siesta, it's supposed to be half an hour, maximum tops an hour, but my Norwegian siestas, they can go all the way up to 3 hours, and
Doubles, yes.
yeah, I double it, and when I wake up, it's like, where did the rest of the day go? And then my partner say, well, you were sleeping. But it's so nice. That's my way of charging my batteries and getting through the winter. But in summer, I'm not a siesta person. Then I'm some friends or barbecuing or in my balcony or in some place out there at a party.
Do you have some favorite spots in Oslo?
Well, yeah, I like Middelalderparken, which is this park right next to the barcode. It has a really beautiful artificial lake. They used to do the Øya Festival there, but they moved it to Tøyen instead. You also have Frognerparken, and you have the islands out in the fjords. You have Gressholmen, you have Langøyene, you have Hovedøya. There's a lot of beautiful places out there, but I think that you can do a lot of those things in the winter, but in the summer it's when it's most idyllic. There's some beautiful beaches out on the west side of the capital, and last summer we had a really beautiful barbecue and a birthday celebration there. There's a lot of mosquitoes though, so make sure to bring your anti-mosquito spray or something, because they will eat you. I haven't been in the fjords in Hardangerfjorden, and that's one of the things that I would really like to do, because I have heard that that's magic. And the north of Norway, it's also very beautiful with the midnight sun. You should definitely experience that.
Yeah, experience. I've
Yeah.
spent 3 months in the north, the
Yeah.
first 3 months
Yeah.
in the region.
Yeah.
Beginning.
It's a little bit fascinating that it's time to go to bed, but no, the sun is still out, and yeah, it's nature.
Are you connected as a real Norwegian to the nature, going every weekend?
No,
På
no, I have been på tur a couple of times, and it's not really my thing, but well, I remember this one time up in Trondheim, where I have my Norwegian family, my adoptive Norwegian family. We went på tur, and I remember that I was thinking, but what is the point? We're not going to go out to buy anything, any groceries, nothing. What? And Irene, she told me, like, well, just give it a chance. You will feel so much better afterwards. And I was like, yeah, okay. And we went out for a 4-hour-long walk in the woods. And if you want to disconnect and just be in Zen, it really is something that people should do. I remember that when I came back, I was so exhausted, but I felt so good. You kind of feel that you have accomplished something, which I did. I got out of my ass from the couch. And it was nice. It's not something that I would do every weekend, but once in a while, yeah, get out there, get in touch with nature, and experience Norwegian nature, because it's magical. Yeah.
So just to, I really enjoyed talking, hearing, listening you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Vedri, for the invitation. It was interesting, fun, emotional to tell you my story, and I hope that it gives something to the people out there, something to hear, my experience. And I do believe that a lot of other people have their stories to tell, and maybe we will get lucky and hear one of those. Thank you very much for letting me be here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. We'll be here next week with a new guest. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Norwegian Newcomers is the name on both places, and you can contact us by email on norwegiannewcomers@gmail.com. Also, we have a Patreon page where you can get the episodes 4 days earlier and some behind the scenes content. Okay, that's all for now. Take care. Bye bye.